guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a tutorial on this look, which is pretty much the same look that I did for my Sephora Pro palette review video, and I asked if you would be interested in a tutorial, and I got a bunch of yeses. So here we are. This is basically just a very soft, neutral cut crease look with some very bold cheeks and lips. And I use the Sephora Pro Warm palette to achieve the eye look, but I think if you have, you know, basically like a range of neutral matte colors going from very light to very dark, you could achieve this look very easily. And then you would just need to add like pops of color for the lid to kind of create that cut effect. And then obviously some vampy lip color of your choice. I went with like a very brick red color. I think if you wanted to do like a blue red, if you wanted to go purple, or even like a very dark chocolatey brown, I think that would look amazing. So this is a fairly dramatic look, especially for me. This is not something I would wear out during the day. So if you're interested in this tutorial, then just keep on watching. So I've already put on foundation on my face, and I've already primed my lids with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. So I'm going to be using the Sephora Pro Warm eyeshadow palette today. You can use any eyeshadow palette that you want, so long as it has a nice range of neutral colors from light to very dark. So I'm going to go ahead and use a very fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M504 brush. You can see it's really domed at the top, and I'm going to go into the oat color, and I'm just going to swipe that all over my lids from the lashes to the brows. I'm going to take another fluffy brush and go into the color right next to it, which is called Biscotti, and tap off the excess and go right into my crease area here, which is basically just right where my eyeball is, right at the top here. And I'm just going to start warming up that crease area. Now I'm going to go into the color Saddle and continue to warm up the crease area. I'm using the same brush. And now I'm going to go in with a smaller blending brush. This is the GOSS 17, and I'm going to go into the shade Hazelnut and continue deepening up the crease here. And now I'm going to take a flatter sort of blending brush. This is the GOSS number 18, and I'm going to go into the shade Cedar, and this is a fairly dark color, so I'm going to tap my brush into the pan and then really tap off any excess, and even sort of brush it around on my arm, make sure I don't have too much on the brush. And then I'm going to go in very lightly with just the tip of the brush and really start to deepen up the crease here. I'm going to take a clean fluffy brush and make sure that I just sort of blend all of this out nicely. And then I'm going to take a small, very pointed kind of blending brush, but that has long bristles, so it's not too dense of an application. So this is the GOSS number 19, and I'm going to dip this in ever so lightly into Obsidian and definitely tap off the excess, wipe it off on my arm here, and then go in very lightly right over where I just applied Cedar. So I'm going to go back in and make sure I'm all blended out. Since I'm going to be using like a cut crease technique and kind of covering up my lid, I'm not too concerned about what's going on sort of underneath my crease here. See, I got some shadow down here. That's all going to be covered up. I'm not going to worry too much about that. I just want to make sure whatever is above that line is sort of blended out and diffused very nicely. So I'm just running this clean blending brush just over that area and making sure all of those colors are meshed together. Okay, and at this point you have an option. You can go ahead and use like a concealer or like a MAC paint pot to sort of really clean up this edge, Or you can simply go in with your contrasting lid color and just tap it on and make sure the edge is very clean there. So it depends on how much you want that lid color to pop. If you really, really want it to pop, if you're using like a metallic shade and you really want it to be shiny, then I would definitely use a concealer or some sort of base there to really sort of even out your lid and to make that line very, very crisp. Or you could just simply go in with the shadow. So what I'm gonna do is just go in with the shadow. I'm gonna use some of the metallic shades in this palette. I'm gonna start with brass and maybe play around with copper and bronze as well. What I'm gonna do is use some Fix Plus on it to really make the shadow shimmery. So I'm gonna use a flat synthetic brush. This is an E.L.F. eyeshadow brush, that's all it's called. And I'm going to dip into, actually, you know what? I'm going to dip into copper. I think I like the look of that metallic more than the brass. And I'm going to take my Fix Plus here. And now what I'm going to do is carefully sort of press the shadow onto my lid and make sort of a crisp line there. I'm simply following the shadow that I used, the line there, and creating this sort of clean line. I'm just going to go into the color bronze, which is right next to copper, and again, just dip, I'm going to use the same brush, dip the brush in, spray it with some Fix Plus, and I'm going to pat that on the outer corner right over the bronze, just to give it a little bit of depth. The bronze is, I'm sorry, the copper, just to give it a little bit of depth. So the bronze is, has a little bit more green and yellow to it, and the copper color is much more orangey. So just to give it a little contrast. And then I'm just gonna put the final touches on. I'm gonna use a little pencil brush here and go into the shade Sand, which is a very light metallic shade, and I'm going to highlight my inner corners and also underneath my eyebrow here on my brow bone. Okay, so I'm done with the eyes. What I'm going to do off camera is I'm just going to put some brow gel in my eyebrows and put some concealer on so we can kind of finish up the lower lash line. So I'll be right back. So one thing I could have done before I jumped off to do my brows and my concealer is my eyeliner. So I'm using the INGLOT gel liner in 77, which is their like matte black, and I am using a super teeny tiny, very hard bristled angled brush. This is from Smith Cosmetics. It is number 203. It's very, very small. And I'm just going to line my eyes very simply. I'm not doing a wing or anything. I just sort of want to accent my lash line. So I'm going to dip it into the gel pot here. Okay, gel eyeliner done. That is always really nerve-wracking, especially because this INGLOT liner, it dries pretty quickly, so you kind of have to work pretty quickly, but it's also nice because it doesn't budge. It kind of sets down. Anyway, let me go ahead and kind of apply some shadow to my lower lash line. I'm going to go ahead and use this small pencil brush. This is the Morphe R41, and I'm going to go ahead and dip into the color Cedar and apply it very close to the lash line here. And I stop about midway, and I'm going to take a small dense sort of smudger brush here, and I'm going to go into Obsidian and get even closer to the lash line with this. Then I'm going to take a clean pencil brush and just sort of blend that out. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some mascara, the Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal. I'm going to curl my lashes. My non-existent lashes. I've kind of given up on false lashes for a little while, so I'm just going to go with this. So let me zoom you back out, we'll do the rest. Alright, so I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. I'm going to go with a big fluffy brush onto the bronze side and just kind of warm up my cheeks here. And then I'm going to go in with a fairly strong blush. This is the blushed copper blush from Becca. It is one of their Luminous blushes. And so I'm going to use this very, very lightly. This blush is extremely pigmented, so use it with a very, very light hand. And then I'm going to use my Anastasia highlighter brush, go back into the Film Star Bronze and Glow onto the glow side for some highlight. Alright, and now we're ready for the lips. So I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Hollywood Honey, and this is a great, really kind of brick red. It's very brown leaning, so I love this as a liner and also all over. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips, but I'm also going to fill in quite a bit with this lip cheat. And now I'm going to go in with the Birkin Brown Charlotte Tilbury matte lipstick. And I'm just going to press that onto my lips. And then I'm going to take the So Marilyn Charlotte Tilbury color, which is, it's still a very warm red, but it's much brighter than the Birkin Brown, which barely actually has any red in it. So just to give my lips a little life, I'm going to dab this sort of in the middle of my lips. So that's it for the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed that. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe down below and hit that bell for notifications when I do upload new videos, and I will see you in my next video.